Hello, I'm Jenny Fern, and welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. I still don't know what I want to read. Oh, my heater finally kicked on. Oh my god, I'm so cold. I don't know if you can tell because I'm wearing my hood. I'm really cold this morning. I still don't know what I want to read. I'm still torn between The Loved One and The Crucible. I actually am so excited because I got a few things from the library last night, or maybe it was just one thing. So I got the audiobook for The Crucible, and I also got the graphic novel Ducks, and I had started reading that for my 500 subscriber special. And I didn't have the actual library rental of it. And anyway, I just checked last night and they had it available. So I might read that as well. I think I'm gonna save that for a day where I think I'm not gonna be able to read like a full book. Who knows what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do whatever I want. What I think I'm gonna do this morning is read the first little bit of each of these, but just to figure out which one I'm more in the mood for. This one I don't have an audiobook for, this one I do. So this one will allow me to do more chores around the house. This one, I'll be stuck taking breaks. Oh no. Oh no, she has to read while she's taking a break. Wow, how sad and tragic. So here's the situation. So far, I don't know what is even going. I don't know what's happening. I'm like enjoying the words as they wash over me, but I don't know what's actually happening. I'm gonna try The Crucible then next. So I did read about the same amount of The Crucible. The exterior of this book looks very modern, but the interior of this book is really old looking. So now I'm confused. 1967? I read about the same amount that I had read of The Loved One, and I'm definitely way more hooked into this. I am so on board. I even dog-eared the very first page. We're not even into the play. We are getting context. I just have to say, this description is so cool and beautiful. So this is setting the scene of the home of Reverend Samuel Parris in Salem, Massachusetts in 1692. The room gives off an air of clean sparseness. The roof rafters are exposed, and the wood colors are raw and unmellowed. Raw and unmellowed wood. Like, what a way to make wood seem creepy. I do think what I am going to do chores-wise today is clear off the clutter from my tables. I just turned the camera on and I was like, wow, this is so beautiful and lush looking. Just wanted to check in. I'm not very far into this at all, but I am really loving it. I'm so into it. Big update is the audiobook is not an audiobook. It's like an audio play, which I don't want. I want to read all of it. Like the stage directions, and it's very interesting. I've never read a play like this, I don't think, where there's like all of this exposition. I don't know if this is performed or if this is just for us to read. I gave the audiobook a little bit of a try, and it's just not going to work for me. I am going to read the physical book, so it might take me a little longer. I forgot to mention yesterday, my husband did pick up this album from the thrift store. So I've just gone through the rest of the junk mail that was just sitting on this table. Now I'm gonna go shred it. And now I can show you my table. We've got to figure out where batteries go. I don't know what to do with light bulbs. I have just sat down to read a little bit more. I'm about a quarter of the way through. I'm definitely taking my time with this. I am really enjoying it, and I am starting to get a little worried that I will not remember who everyone is. I'm already having a bit of a hard time. Just right now, we've had a conversation with Putnam, Proctor, and Paris, and I'm like, oh god. Okay, so Paris is the Reverend. Paris seems like a bad person. Who is Putnam? Was a man with many grievances, at least one of which appears justified, sometime before his wife's brother-in-law had been turned down as minister. He is vindictive and embittered. Okay, John Proctor was a farmer in his middle 30s. Okay, Putnam is bitter. Paris is the Reverend. And Proctor is just like a contentious kind of guy, I guess. I also cleaned off this table here, which you saw me do. And I would like to clean off this table here as well. But I don't want to do that right now. I don't know what I want to do. I'm feeling kind of lazy. Like, I don't even know if I want to get dressed today. I am unwrapping a little peanut butter cup. I usually can't eat these because I have a soy allergy. But recently we got 2 different types. One's like sunflower seeds. This one's peanut butter. But the filling is incredibly dry. I think I might actually put on more sweatpants and get like super duper cozy and continue reading. I have just hit about the halfway point. I am gobbling this up. I am having such a great time with it. Here is a line. A political policy is equated with moral right, and opposition to it with diabolical malevolence. Once such an equation is effectively made, society becomes a congeries of plots and counterplots, and the main role of the government changes from that of the arbiter to that of the scourge of God. And then this page I just marked because whoever had annotated this book before me thought it was really important to circle the page number 69. I am taking a break from reading, even though I don't really want to. I've been having a really wonderful time with this book. I'm so happy to be enjoying myself compared to yesterday, which I unfortunately did not enjoy very much. But I would like to get some tidying up done, so I'm gonna tackle this table over here while I listen to another album. I listened to that Phyllis Dillon album. Love Phyllis Dillon. And there is a beautiful cover of Close to You, maybe? The one where it goes, why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? That one. Let's pick out an album together, even though you won't be able to listen to it. This is the telltale sign that I am cleaning. I'm putting on accessories. I ate dinner and I took a little nap. This is such a gripping and scary story. I am terrified of Abigail. She is so scary. I will be reading Act 4 now. There we go. So I'm genuinely feeling so spooked out. They want to be close to you. She's almost at the bottom. I have now finished the Crucible. My dog has whined. Oh, and my husband approaches.
Your husband approaches.
There is a cut scene at the very end in an appendix where Arthur Miller explains that this would belong in Act 2, and it's between Abigail and John Proctor, and it kind of makes Abigail's intentions more clear. I don't think it needs to be in the piece, but it was interesting that he chose to add it at the end in case anybody did figure how to weave it into the play more seamlessly. What do I have to say about this? I thought this was extremely good. It's a very compelling story. This is about the Salem witch trials. It is a 4-act play where we're following the townsfolk. So it says, this play is not a history in the sense of which the word is used by the academic historian. Dramatic purposes have sometimes required many characters to be fused into one. The number of girls involved in the crying out has been reduced. Abigail's age has been raised, which is very interesting because one of the key points would call into question Abigail's age. That would very, very seriously change the context of this story. I would give this a 5 stars. I now have to think in terms of partial stars because I've started to use Fable and Storygraph, Bookworm, and Library Thing. I can't use Library Thing. That will come in a video of its own. Would this be a true 5 or a 4.75? That's the question. And I don't know if that is a question I can answer tonight. I'm very glad that I read this today. And now I'm going to go take a shower. It is not too late in the night, but I'd like to close out today's video. I had some more thoughts about the Crucible while I was in the shower. That slightly surprising statement that I had read before leaving, that Abigail was aged up quite a bit. And if you've read The Crucible, obviously that's very important. And I have to say that whole relationship was a little weird with Abigail and John. It does leave a weird, bad taste. One could also think of Event as some sort of wild revenge plot, a somewhat justified way. Obviously not at all. I can imagine a version of this story being retold where Abigail is the protagonist. I have to say, I especially felt that it was a little mean-spirited that it is mentioned that Abigail is thought to have been a prostitute when she's older. Obviously, a lot of people died needlessly. In order to live, you would have to confess to something that you did not do. I don't fully know the story. I just know that the story that was told through the Crucible, there was a perspective there that was very evident and very well could not be true at all. I still think it was excellent. It was very, very gripping. And even if it has this kind of problematic tinge to it, I think it was very, very good. And so I'm not going to change my rating or anything, but I've just been thinking quite a lot about it. I've also been watching Frieren. So it is pronounced in like the Germanic way. I have been watching the anime for the first time after I've read quite a bit of the manga. I've said that wrong the entire time I've talked about it this year. And I think tonight I'm just gonna edit a little bit, try to catch up. I posted a video today and unfortunately it is like the darkest video I've ever filmed. And I didn't realize how dark it was until I was editing it and I was like, oh good lord. Oh, I'm so excited. I just saw a comment that I didn't see earlier today. So let's read this comment. This is from Cat's Books. SFF180 is a classic channel for sci-fi books. I'm subscribed to a few other sci-fi heavy channels, but I cannot think of their channel names at the moment. I'm subscribed to so many channels. I can relate. I'm also subscribed to so many channels. Literally, Elise does a sci-fi book club on her channel and she's doing it again for 2025. It's called Libronauts. Well, this is great. Thank you so much, Cat's Books. And now I bid you adieu. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider liking and subscribing. Consider sharing it with a friend who you think would also enjoy it. Thank you again so much. I'm so excited to celebrate this milestone with all of you. And if you have read The Crucible, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it? I really tried not to spoil the whole thing today, but I definitely have some spoilery thoughts. This did not have very high ratings, and I I actually completely understand that, but again, it got me. I was scared. I think you could tell, but I was genuinely scared. Good night. I will see you again